Hello everybody, welcome to November and our bullet journal theme for this month. So we're going autumnal, of course, with our colouring, and I'll take you through our cover page. So we've got some really lovely autumnal colours and our title page with lots of autumnal leaves spread around there. And let me show you the template. So we've got our cover page, as you just saw. As usual, these templates are available if you're a Patreon. You have these free included in your membership. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can head over to the website, which is linked in the comments below, and you can download these from our website. That's the cover page. You've got a week to view, and then we've got our dailies, so a little bit of detail each day, just a little bit of mindful colouring, space for our gratitudes and our daily journal thoughts. So if you are part of our Patreon journal club, we have a journal prompt Monday to Friday with a guided meditation to listen to, which I try and link into our theme for that week. We've also got our habit tracker for the month, and our mood tracker is just varied different autumnal leaves. And we've got an extra page just with some titling if you wanted to create any kind of bullet journal spreads that aren't included in this download. So let's have a look, shall we, at the techniques that we're going to be using for this month's theme. Let me just zoom in. I will put all of the Tombow references in the comments so that you've got exactly the colours that I'm using, but of course you can use any colour you wish. So first of all, for this month's theme, I'm mainly just using Tombow brush tip, and we've got various different shapes of different leaves that we're working with. So first of all, easiest thing to do, let's just get an orange colour, is just a circle. Okay, that's one leaf shape done. Telling you, this is so easy, guys, so easy. We'll go and put the pen detail in afterwards. A different leaf shape, let's do like a more of a teardrop leaf shape. Done. Second leaf, done. I'm not messing about. It's so straightforward this time round. And then we've got maybe more of a oaky style, so I'm just kind of doing squiggles and filling it in. That's like our oak leaf shape. And then we've got more of a maple, which is probably going to be like the trickiest shape to do, only because you just have to pay a bit more attention. So I'm doing like pointed bits coming out like this. You can just make it however you want, really, but just a bit more jagged edges on the maple leaf. There's just no rules to it, really, to be honest with you, whatever shape you want. I've also got some more kind of like branch and leaves. So we do this quite a lot in our journaling. We use this kind of branchy. So there's a branch, and then I just do, I like to think of it as a bow tie. One side, just a little oval. So the lighting is not great today. It is a sunny day, but as you can see, it's all coming from this side, so it's shadowing my work a little bit. I'll try and lighten it up in editing to try and help out, but that's kind of like our branchy shape. And also there's little kind of, I've done a few kind of just little almost like 3-leaf clover, if you will, but just little shapes like that dotted around. We've got some berries, so we're doing a couple of circles together. You can group them however you fancy. Done some in 3s there. And then I've been using a fine liner. This is just a really basic Edding fine liner. I used to use these so much at work. I love these. I would wear them down to within an inch of their lives. But just do some stalks. And now you've got some berries. Another little shape we've got going on is, again, more of like a branch with leaves on. So if we do some leaf shapes like this. And a lot of the times when I'm using tombos like this, I like to let them dry off a little bit before adding detail in. So we'll go back in a second. Now that, so that's kind of like a branch with leaf details. Now that this red one is a little bit drier, we can add some detailing in. Really, really simplistic. Can you see that? Let me zoom in a bit. So really simple shapes. And this is almost just like simple as that. Honestly, make it as kind of almost childlike, I feel. You know, you don't really want much detail in there at all. Just a little nod to it being a leaf. So giving it a little bit of detail, and it's up to you. Up to you what you want to do. You could go a little bit more in detail if you wanted, or keep it simplistic. Whatever you feel. Oops, that wasn't even on camera. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. So that's adding in the detail to those. The only other thing I've got is a little acorn shape, and for that one just used a orange colour semicircle, which is almost like a little hat, and then the acorn underneath it. That's all you need. And again, we can go over that with some fine line detail when it's a little bit drier, but give it its little stalk. I don't know, whatever you fancy. If you wanted to outline it a bit, you could give it a bit of detail. So that covers all of the shapes. The other thing that I've done is just to add a dotted line in. So using the fine liner, I've just gone in and done some kind of swirly, almost like the wind is blowing it around. And that's it. So that covers, oops, that covers all of our shapes. And then the plan is just to build these up all around our title so that it fills our page. You can fill it as little or as much as you want, but just using these key shapes, we can make a really cute little ditzy pattern. So let's have a look at the layout on a fresh page. If you've been with us a while, you'll know that I have a little hack. If you're wishing to do exactly the same as my template, you can scribble some pen on the back there, and then that will allow you to trace through, and it will transfer all of the kind of line detail onto the page underneath and give you a really good guideline. So I'm going to do that quickly and I'll meet you back on the other side. Okay, so to you that looks like a blank page, but if you look closely, it's a very faint line so that I can kind of see where I'm going. Now normally I would say we do the title last, but because in this month's theme we are kind of filling around the main title, we're going to actually do November first. Just going to clear my desk space a little bit so I can get in here and do this a bit. So if you are copying my template, all I'm going to say is just take it easy. Remember to take your pen off. If you're trying to trace something and do it exactly all in one go, it's just not easy. So it's easy for me because this is kind of like my styled handwriting, but if you're trying to copy it, it's just not easy trying to copy. I'm going over it a little bit. I just want to make that line a little bit thicker without it being too clumpy. So I'm just adding a little bit more pen. I went in with the fibre tip end rather than the brush tip end, just so I've got a bit more control. But if you are good at calligraphy, you might want to do this with the brush tip end, and then you can get a really nice stylized November out of it. Okay, so that's where we're starting for today. Also, on this month, I've kind of done a little detail where the calendar month is in a different colour. So I'm going to want that to be nice and dry when I put my either write over it or put my stamp over it. So I'm going to fill that out now so that it's definitely dry for when I come to do that part. So that's quite an easy thing. Just try and do it with as minimal lines as possible. There we go. Just kind of outline it a bit. Okay, so that's that bit. And then we're just gonna fill in the leaf shapes around. So it's up to you how you do it. You can do it leaf by leaf. If you want to follow my diagram, my illustration, then I find it easier sometimes just to kind of pick up one colour and do everything that I want in that colour. Get that done first. Just saves time. Because this is kind of pre-designed, like I've said before, I design these first and see how it looks on Procreate before I kind of do it in my journal. Is it cheating? I don't know. It's probably because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and last thing I want to do is mess up my journal, guys. Although, to be honest, I've obviously got loads of journals because we sell the dotted journal that I'm working in. I do have loads of journals. I could just start a new one, but I don't want to do that because I love having my kind of backdated journals and looking at them, and especially on Journal Club, it's so useful. So this week on Journal Club, we're doing what's called a level 10 life. And if you're kind of keen on bullet journaling, you might have seen that spread before or done that spread before. But we did it in January and we're kind of re-looking at it. And it's just really good to see the progression on, you know, how I kind of rated myself out of 10 in January. And areas where, you know, I've definitely increased that level, and areas where I haven't. And it's, you know, it's not been my focus and things have fallen off. And I was just talking to our Journal Club members today saying, you know, that's kind of natural that we pick things up and run with them. And then other times, you know, other things are our focus. You can't do all the things all the time. And I think sometimes it's just, you know, you need to accept your limitations. And sometimes with personal growth, we beat ourselves up because we haven't managed to do better or increase or get our goals. But actually, you know, what's if taking some time out was actually what you needed? And that's kind of where I am at the moment. Not that I'm taking time out, I'm just enjoying things. So if you follow me on Instagram, I've been really getting into hiking recently and absolutely love getting out and hiking. And it takes up a lot of your time. You know, sometimes it can take weekends out of my time. And maybe beforehand I spent those weekends, I don't know, working on my business or doing other things. And that time's been taken away and spent elsewhere. And that's okay. And that's what I'm kind of learning at the moment, is that it's okay to not do all the things all the time. At the end of the day, you have to be happy. And you have to do things that make you happy. Sometimes work is a priority. And that, unfortunately, is life, because, you know, we've all got bills to pay. But I'm really enjoying spending time on myself at the moment. Not only like going to the gym and doing things for my body, but like doing things for my mind as well, like getting out into the open air and just seeing what this amazing country, I must say, I am seeing parts of the UK which I've never seen before. Guys, I am 43 and I had never been to Wales. I'm not quite sure how, you know, that is even possible. I've been to Ireland for work, but I've not been to Ireland for pleasure, and I think that's kind of going to be next on my list. I'm sure there must be plenty of mountains in Ireland to kind of conquer. So maybe that should be on my goals for next year, is to venture and explore the UK. You know, been on flights and been all over the world on holidays, and I've been lucky with a job to be able to go and see lots of different parts of the world, Asia particularly, but I hadn't actually been to Wales. So yeah, enjoy the world. You don't have to spend a fortune, especially with Airbnb at the moment. I'm looking kind of at what deals we can get. And there's some good deals to be had if you can afford it. And that's where I'm at the moment. Just want to make enough money so I can fund myself going hiking. So we're just filling in as much detail as possible. Now, in my original artwork, I used this darker yellow, but actually I'm thinking I might go for something a little bit lighter. This one's Tombow 026, and it's a staple. I always have this in my pencil case. I've recently purchased 991, and I actually think this might be better for today. Let's have a look. Yeah, you know what it is. I feel like it just lifts it a bit. It's a bit kind of a dirty yellow, that other one, and I just want it to be a bit happier. So we're going to use this one. I will put both down, but my original journal, so the one in my journal, is the darker, more burnt yellow. But I just think this one is nicer. It definitely lifts it. And now I'm annoyed because I want this in my journal now, but it's too late. It's too late. I've done my journal, so it'll have to stay. But maybe this is the photograph that I'll put on Instagram, not mine. And that's And that's fine. I've got to learn. I've got to be better at things not being perfect. Done is better than perfect, is what they say. But it does somewhat irritate me if it's not exactly how I want. Again, work in progress, my friends. Learn to let go. But I think you can see as well, it just lifts. It lifts it that little bit extra, especially with those dark reds. And I'm going to add some browns in as well. So it just lifts it a little bit. Let's go back. It's really filling in nicely now. You can see how that just kind of keeps getting more full, more busy as you go. Let's do some dark brown here. If you've seen some of our tutorials before, you'll know that I try and keep things balanced. That's why I kind of design it first. Try and make sure that the colour is balanced throughout the page. There's nothing particularly glaring, sticking out. And that's another reason why I design it ahead of time on Procreate on the iPad. Or on Illustrator. I do like using Illustrator. I'm yet to kind of learn much about InDesign. I'm sure InDesign would be better for things like this, but it's what you're used to, I think. Okay, where are we at over here? I'm just going to put our acorn hats on. They're over here as well, and it's got almost like a little oak leaf hanging off it. I'm going to do that oak leaf in the yellow just because I've got orange here and orange here, and I just feel like it needs breaking up with a bit of yellow in there. So just checking that we've covered everything. I've got this lighter saddle brown. Use this brown a lot. It's a good mid to light brown. And then I'm going to put another leaf just kind of popping out here. And then, oh, I've got one more leaf I think we're missing. I think it's going to be orange, this gap here. Orange or yellow. It's next to yellow there. Let's balance it out with orange, I think. A maple leaf. This one's a bit of a pointy one. I'm not quite sure what went on there, but there we go. Right, so let's zoom out. That was in. Zoom out. So that's all of our leaf details. Actually, I've got a little kind of branch coming out from underneath where the date is, so I'm just gonna fill that in. There we go. Okay, so next is to add the detail in. So this has kind of been drying. I'm gonna use my Edding fine liner to do the kind of wispy wind dotted lines, and all that's literally all it is just following a trail. You can do your own or you can follow mine, just whatever goes, just as if the wind is taking it on a journey. And we're going around here as well. I think these pens are 0.3s. I'm not sure. It's a bit thicker. It's definitely not a 0.1. So my 0.1 just doesn't feel as comfortable on the page as this pen does. 0.1, you're almost like worried you're going to break it. And I think this one just gives it a little bit more detail. I've done that one in a almost little heart. Oh, and it's coming round and wisping out that way. And then we've got another one here, just wisping out from here. I think I am going to go back to the 0.1 though, just to do, maybe not. Okay, let's stick with this one. I was going to use the 0.1 for the details in the leaves, but let's stick with this one. So we're just going to add our stalk details in. Our little branchy twigs. I mean, you can have as little or as many as you wish. This pen does just kind of bring it a bit more to life. I might use the fine liner to just add a bit more detail in. Oh yeah, I love this, loving it. I love watching it, kind of the detail grow as we're doing it. Let's just add this fella up here. This guy up here needs a bit more. Difficult to see it on these darker colours. You could also use your white pen if you've got one of the Sakura jelly rolls, which I do quite like using. Down there. That's it really, just keep adding and building. Don't quite like what I just did there, but never mind. Yeah, I think some of these brown leaves, those darker ones, you could definitely use the Sakura jelly rolls. Just give it a bit more detail. We'll get that out in a minute and I'll show you what that could look like if you wished to do that. I'll give it a go. We're just adding in all of our branches and twig details. Oops. Just put them to there. I love how this is coming together. Not quite sure what this one's doing, so bear with as I work out where I was deciding to put leaves on this one, because it went a little bit crazy. I didn't really have much going on. I don't know. Is that, yeah, maybe that'll do. That'll do. That'll do. And then in terms of this one here, I might just get my 0.1 fine liner, just because I want it to be a little bit more detailed on, let's zoom in for you, on the acorn. I don't want massively to outline it, but I feel like it needs something. So I'm just going to add a little bit of detail onto that. I'm happy with that. And then on some of these leaves, I've just done like almost a little sketchy. And you can do that on as many or as little as you want. Kind of like them looking quite childlike, but then having some detail is cute too. Let's zoom out and see where we're at. Keep on zooming in today. Okay, that is really filled out nicely, hasn't it? So when you're happy with all your details, I'm probably going to overwork it now. Now I'm getting a bit sketchy with it. What am I doing? I don't know. Just going to put some extra little skinnier line details on some things. But, oh, he doesn't have a detail on there. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. Shall we leave it at that? Because oh, this guy down here hasn't got any leaf details, so let's just give him, there we go. Am I happy? I think I'm happy. I think I'm happy with that. So the last thing we need to do is, if you are filling in the calendar yourself, you can use the grid, or you can trace the numbers from my artwork, or if you, like me, love things to be all neat and tidy, then I'm using my month to view calendar stamp. So I do have these back in the store, I just haven't listed them, so just bear with me, but I have got them back in stock. I just need to package them and get them on the website. I will make that a priority, so you can go and shop and buy them. So we're gonna pop it in the middle, give that a press. I'm happy with that. I've also just done like a little sketchy dotted line around it, just to make it a little bit more stylized, really. So let's add that, because it ties in with the rest of our artwork, doesn't it? And then I didn't know whether to almost make it look like a pinned note. You could add, if you wanted, like a little pin, or a little circle at the top like that, something like that maybe. Anyway, that's quite cute. And we'll zoom out and see the finished month. There we go. That is our November cover page. So as always, I love it when you tag me in things. Don't forget that we do have other months on YouTube. If you wanted to have a look and change those round, you can use any of our templates and adapt them to any month of the year. So have a go and let me know what you think. Have a great November, guys.